Hi, I'm Lazze and I'm teaching people in metal shaping. And now we're making these tips and tricks for the English wheel. And you probably have seen it before, and I'm going to make another panel with this, and I'll also explain a little better what this black rubber does on the top wheel here. This is actually an inner tube from a truck tire, and I lay that flat on the table and cut the strip from it. And then I'm using this on the top wheel here. What this actually does is that the lower wheel pushing up the sheet in the soft rubber. So on each track, it will be like a brake. But if you do several tracks there, it's going to be a smooth radius. So that means that the rubber band only bends the metal 2-dimension. We don't stretching the metal. And remember that. It's only bending the metal 2-dimension. And it's very useful when you make parts for all kinds of stuff. Let's say if you would like to make a new rocker panel for a car that has a little curve on it, but it's maybe 3 or 4 feet long. You can take not this roundest wheel, but you can take maybe this wheel, the second wheel, and you can roll that with a rubber band, and you can create that little radius on the rocker panel first, and then you can go to the brake and bend all the other the bends on it. It can also be on a 32 Roadster door, for example. We're making the crown first, the convex shape of the door, put the belt line on the door, but the top where you lay your arm, that's where we're bending it with the rubber band over. And when you do that, it will be, you're losing a little of the convex shape or the radius of the bead and the door, so you need to shrink the top part of that. So I'm going to make a little test piece here for you so you can see what actually the rubber band does. The rubber band that I'm using here is 7.00/7.50 times 16-inch truck tire. So that comes from that, the inner tube comes from that truck tire. Then it will fit an 8-inch top wheel. So it depends on what top wheel you have, what size you have on the top wheel. But that will work for an 8-inch top wheel. So this inner tube here, I used that many times, so it's getting there, so I need to change that pretty soon. But you see, it's still working. So you can see here now that it's actually bending at 2-dimension. But you can also see that the end that I didn't wheel over, that one is still flat. So I can roll that a little more, turn it around, and I can just roll that part. I don't need to wheel the rest of it. I can just roll this part. And I'm not bending it at all. It's the rubber band that create that together with the bottom wheel, so it's actually pushing up the sheet in the soft rubber. So a long time ago, I thought that it will be more smooth, the panel, if I used the rubber band or a soft wheel on the top. But that is not the case. It's actually bending it, okay? If you have a wider piece like this, and you're going to bend it like a drive shaft tunnel, what you need to do is you need to roll the sides first, so you got that shape on both. Then you can go into and run the center part of it. Because especially if the sides go down, you can always do more in the center, but you can't do the sides. So you need to start with both sides first. So now we have a nice shape there. If I used a little less pressure, this will be more flat. I put it here on the top of the English wheel, so you can see that we have a little gap there now, so it's not 100% straight. But that's okay. If I used it with less pressure and did it more times, it will be more straight. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to make this like that. And then I'm going to go back to the English wheel and smooth it out. So I go over to the shrinker and the stretcher. So I'm over here at the small shrink and the stretcher, and if you only have the small one, there's actually a piece that you can do, even if it's hand operated, but I recommend the one with the foot pedal because you have more power in your leg there. So I'm shrinking about 3 steps, turn it around, and shrink the same spot, but on the other side there. In this case, I go all the way down with the pedal. So I do a little more on this side, and then I can go back on the other side again. And I'm looking from this view here, so I got the same radius on both, or at least very close. So they're matching there, if that's what you want. Then I can go over to the stretcher, and I have that on the other side here. And I do the same thing there, but I probably go a little deeper into the jaws to stretch that. And do the same thing on this side. And I can do a little more. And then I go over to this side. I think I should take a little more on this side. There you go. So now you see that we have one inner curve and one outer curve there. So now you see that I have some bubbles here. This is a narrow piece, so I can go over to the English wheel without the rubber band, and I can smooth this out. If this panel was bigger, then I probably need to use a little different technique to get the same shape. I can always, in my shop, I can use the deeper shrink and the stretcher too to do this, and I can work with a bigger piece. So I'm back here at the English wheel, and I'm going to take the rubber band off. But when I do that, I'm also going to show you how to put the rubber band off on the wheel the easiest way. So put it like this, take your hands like this, and do this. That's the easiest way to do it, because in the beginning, when I start using this is a problem. But now I figured out to put it over here on the top and just do this, and it will work good. But I'm going to take it off there now, and then I have just a block of wood to hold it up. And then I'm going to roll it here with the same wheel, but I'm going to smooth it out. So you see I have done one side there now. And you can see the difference between the sides there. Like that. So that one is smooth. And then I'm going to fix the dents here from the shrinker, because when I shrink hard on the edge, make this shorter, it will be too long here and create the bubbles there. And actually we don't want those bubbles at all when we're shrinking. But this is so narrow piece, so I can take those out with the roundest wheel here pretty easy. There we go. So in a few minutes you can have a nice piece like that, and you can go in with a shrinker and a stretcher and adjust it to the shape you want. So this is a pretty interesting piece. But now I'm going to go over to the bead roller, and I'm going to show you what we can do there. So I'm back here to do the next step on this panel, and I'm going to put flames on this one. So I put the sharp dies in the bead roller on both sides here, and this was actually a mistake from my student. They forgot to adjust the shaft, and they came to me and they had one step. And that's how we find out how to make the flames. So remember, it's good to do the mistakes if you learn from them. Don't do them twice. So what I'm going to do now, I set this and I'm standing so I can feed the panel into the machine. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Remember where I had this? Turn it up 2 turns and hold it there. So I hold it there against the first bead. Turn this down 2 turns there. And then I go the same direction. But I do the other side. So with very simple tools, you can actually create something like this very quick. And think about it outside the box, what you can do if you're going to use it for motorcycles, or if you're going to use it for cars, or if you're going to use it for furniture, or think outside the box. So now I'm going to do one more here. And you can draw the lines if you want to, so you can see where you go. And I can slow down the speed if I want to, but too low speed is not so good either. So you see there, I built up 2 of them, and it's just raising the panel up higher and higher. So let me do one more here. I'm just get out of the material, so running out of material. So this is what it can look like. And you can do this in copper, you can do it in aluminum, you can do it in brass. So this was the trick for the bead roller and the English wheel with the rubber band. It's a combination together with the shrinker and stretcher, bead roller, and the English wheel. And as you can hear from the video here, that it's quiet in my shop when I do all this stuff. So we don't using the hammer, plenishing hammer, Yoder hammer. This is the tools we're using for this. And so far, I haven't used a hammer and a dolly on this piece. Thank you for watching, and if you want more information, go to www.lazzemetalshaping.com. See you there. Thank you.